Attention merchants who take corporate, business, and purchasing cards. Are you a wholesale business or a supplier of parts or a supplier of construction tools or materials? Are your customers other businesses? Or maybe you're a restaurant who has clients out for business lunches and they're writing it off with their corporate card. It used to be that the only way to lower interchange rates was to pay attention to the method of how you took the card payment transactions. For example, a swipe card transaction has less risk and therefore lower rate than a transaction taken over the phone and keyed in to the terminal or through a gateway. The good news is that now there's another way to lower risk and therefore lower interchange rates. In particular, there's an opportunity to lower rates on corporate, business, and purchasing cards. Those high-risk cards, which have high interchange rates of around 3% compared to like debit cards at less than 1%, and other cards in the middle. Note that your processor has to charge you higher than 3% in order to provide you their service for those kind of cards. The purpose of this video is to bring to your attention those particular kinds of transactions, those made with purchasing cards, P-cards, corporate cards, and business cards, and educate you on the possibility of lowering the wholesale interchange rates on these cards by up to 1%. Purchasing cards, corporate cards, and business cards are procurement cards issued by a large corporate or a government entity to an employee to make purchases without time-consuming tasks of getting an approval acquisition form. These cards are authorized for certain types of business purchases. For example, an employee may purchase industrial parts for his manufacturing firm, but not take his wife out to dinner and buy gas for his family car. These types of cards have a high processing rate for the merchant of 3% because of the high risk of fraud from employees misusing their cards. However, the risk goes down and the rate of processing goes down if the merchant can transmit back more data and information about this transaction. The fact that there is more data and data that indicates the cards being used to procure authorized types of equipment or services reduces the risk on the card and therefore lowers the wholesale interchange rate. The data and information required to reduce the risk and the rate includes line item detail about the item purchased, sales tax, SIC code, and more, shipping information. Entering all this extra data for each transaction via a gateway used to be a very time-consuming and intense process that produced frustration that many merchants weren't willing to deal with, so they simply chose not to do it. Often, if one I was not dotted or one T was not crossed in the process, the merchant ended up paying the high rate for the transaction anyway. Many credit card processing salespeople never even brought the subject up, even though some merchants might choose to complete the process. But now you can get 1% lower rates on those cards simply and automatically without making any changes in the way you accept payments. New technology takes all the time-intensive frustration away and transmits the data and information automatically behind the scenes with the proper setup of the merchant account. The merchant simply swipes the card in the terminal, enters it through an online e-commerce site, or swipes it through a mobile app and gets the lowest rate, saving up to 1% on the transaction. Now that could be a lot of money in savings. If you process $50,000 a month in business, corporate, or purchasing cards, your savings would be $500 a month or $6,000 a year. If you process $100,000 per month with these types of cards, the savings would be $1,000 a month or $12,000 per year. Wouldn't you want to just even save $1,000 per year? So give me a call. I'm Gingergaye at Electronic Money Company. My number is 505-296-2847. If you want to find out how much you could be saving on your credit card processing fees for business, corporate, and government cards. Talk to you later. Bye.